Charming Pot.
I took a black cat, a cave bat, and threw them in a pot. I took a blue snake, a green snake, and tied them in a knot. I took a hawk jaw, a dog's paw, and hung them on the line. I took a horsehair, a green pear, and made a crazy sign. I'm casting my spell on you.
Greetings, Darklings, and welcome back to the Charmed Pot. This episode is sponsored by the Chris Baker School of Podcast Recording. You don't have to be inebriated to record this podcast, but it couldn't hurt. I've been spending some quality time in my studio recently, preparing Halloween goodies for my next show, Midsummer Scream. While there are times I like to work in silence, there are certainly times I like to plug in my iPod and let my music inspire my work. I have a number of Halloween-related tracks in a massive playlist, and they cover an impressively wide time span. Like many of you, this obsession with collecting Halloween music started at an early age. Many of us had the child's gateway drug to macabre music, Disney's sound effects record, chilling, thrilling sounds of the haunted house. Between that record and the prevalence of monster-themed Saturday morning cartoons, my fate was sealed. Now, way back when, Halloween music was originally Samhain music and was used to tell stories to while away the long hours of winter's darkness. Cautionary tales were spun, warning of the dangers of angering the fairy on Samhain, or hunting the wrong animal and being cursed into the animal's form for the remainder of Earth's days. These folk songs immigrated to the United States with their UK singers and poets. With the help of a generous dose of Christianity, the fairies in the songs were replaced by Old Scratch, and the warnings changed to that of the dangers of losing your soul to eternal damnation. Many came from the Appalachian region, known for its salt-of-the-earth denizens. Being American folk songs written by plain-spoken mountain people, some humor was woven into the more serious warnings about the most unclean. The Devil and the Farmer's Wife, also known as The Devil and the Old Lady and The Farmer's Cursed Wife, relate a story about a nagging wife who is kidnapped by the devil and taken to hell. Turns out she was such a pain in the butt, the devil took her back to her husband. The turn of the century came around, and musicians like Robert Johnson began to record disturbing little songs about Satan, as evidenced in Preaching the Blues, Up Jumped the Devil, and of course, Crossroads. Johnson himself was rumored to have sold his soul to that creature in return for his now legendary guitar-picking skills. His mysterious early death added to the tale of his midnight soul swap with Satan. The 20s and 30s brought musicians such as Ramona and the Park Avenue Boys, who recorded The House is Haunted, and Ted Weems and his orchestra, who recorded Mysterious Moes.
To recognize him, and I'll tell you how. If your path at midnight dark by the graveyard goes, and someone whistles, why, that's Mysterious Moes.
Mysterious Moes was a tune describing a boogeyman who could be blamed for all manner of spooky happenings, which might happen to you. Jazz legend Jelly Roll Morton and his Red Hot Peppers came out with Dead Man Blues in 1926. It was an instrumental track steeped with ragtime and the gothic beauty of New Orleans. As an aside, Stanley Kubrick used 4 songs from this era in the famous ballroom scene in The Shining. They were Masquerade by Jack Hilton and his orchestra, Midnight, the Stars, and You by Ray Noble and his orchestra, It's All Forgotten Now, also by Ray Noble and his orchestra, and Home by Henry Hall and his Glen Eagles Hotel Band. Spooky novelty jazz tunes were all the rage in the 1930s, and as happens with every generation, inspired and influenced the next generation of songwriters. Two of the young men who heard these songs grew up to be Ex Atencio and Buddy Baker, who wrote Grim Grinning Ghosts and, well, the music for the Haunted Mansion. For a deeper look into that subject, check out the blog called Long Forgotten, August 13th, 2010 post. Oh, and check out Louis Armstrong's The Skeleton in the Closet. It's a classic example of 1930s spooky-themed music. The joyful ragtime of the 20s and 30s gave way to the big band and swing sounds of the 40s, as you could hear in the tune Swingin' at the Seance by the great Glenn Miller and his band.
At precisely 12 o'clock, the spooks began to ride. Swinging at the seance, 12 ticks, swinging at the seance.
Around that same time, Fats Waller came out with Dem Dry Bones. You might recognize it from your childhood.
The toe bone connected to the heel bone. The heel bone connected to the foot bone. The foot bone connected.
Washington Irving's story, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, continued to fascinate America's horrified imaginings and became immortalized in song in 1949. Bing Crosby was famously known for the song The Headless Horseman, but there were other recordings done in different styles as well. Many of us have heard Thurl Ravenscroft's version, but Kay Starr recorded a rich big band version too.
And what goes on when it gets late? Along about midnight, the ghosts and banshees get together for a jamboree. There's ghosts with horns.
Big band and swing continued their popularity and influence into the early 50s, when the incredible Eartha Kitt came out with a wicked rendition of I Want to Be Evil.
I want to go to the devil, I want to be evil. I want to spit tax, I want to be evil. And cheat at jacks.
It became such a well-known Good Girls anthem, it was covered by Chiwetel Ejiofor in the 2006 movie Kinky Boots.
I want to wake up in the morning with that dark brown taste. I want to see some dissipation in my face. I want to be...
While not technically a spooky song, it's still a great title to add to a Halloween playlist. Oh, and Louis Armstrong recorded a great little tune called Spooks in 1954. There's still that toe-tapping, danceable rhythm coming from the 40s apparent in this one, and it truly is one of my favorites from that time period. On the other side of the coin, country music and yodeling was, well, you know, good family fun, and American folk storytelling found an outlet in this unique sound. Country singer Patsy Montana wrote and recorded a Halloween tune called Yodeling Ghost. It managed to set a spooky tone with slide guitar, skittery fiddle, and some fairly convincing thunder sound effects.
There was no ghost inside, for it was the yodeling ghost. She'd yodel in the cellar.
By the mid-1950s, the creature feature craze had its tentacled grip around the public's collective throat. Aliens from outer space, mutants, and teenage monsters terrorized audiences across the nation, and the music industry cashed in on the new style of horror movie mania with tunes related to what was playing on the silver screen. Folks celebrating the new horror movies included Lord Luther, who came out with I Was a Teenage Creature, and the Five Blobs, who came out with The Blob. Portland, Oregon-based horror hostess Tarantula Ghoul recorded Graveyard Rock and King Kong. One of my favorite non-movie related tunes is Tombstone No. 9 by Murray Schaff, and it definitely needs to earn a space on your Halloween playlist.
I'm gonna be Tombstone number 9. Right beside those 8, there's an empty plot.
While the 60s brought us Bobby Pickett's Monster Mash in 1962, they also brought with them the beach and surf movies, go-go dancing, and some doo-wop left over from the 50s. Universal monsters were regaining popularity, and once again, the Halloween novelty song shifted like a werewolf to reflect the changing tastes of the public. It seemed like every time you turned around there was a new Boris Karloff or Peter Lorre sound-alike creepy song to listen to, as evidenced in Riboflavin-flavored, non-carbonated, polyunsaturated blood by Don Henson and the Rigor Morticians. Fear by the Ventures and Ghost Train by the Swanks were perfect example of creepy beach rock. Strychnine by the Sonics introduced some 60s garage punk into the genre. I really don't have time to run through the 70s to the present, but I'll hit some of the highlights for you. Superstition by Stevie Wonder. If you don't have this astoundingly cool funk song on your playlist yet, I'm really not sure if we can be friends. Extra points if you've seen the YouTube video of him performing this live on Sesame Street. Tom Waits has a catalog full of creepy cool and disturbing hits, but I'll limit myself to just 3. What's He Building in There?, Whistling Past the Graveyard, and Murder in the Red Barn. So poor Eternus, the bizarre German singer, has a piece, Children of the Corn, which really could be a nightmarish and disturbingly beautiful music box tune. Oh, and don't forget the Ramones. Pet Sematary? Oh my gosh, that's so in my playlist. Now, aside from all the Nox Arcana and Midnight Syndicate, there's also Halloween at High Noon to consider. I've used them for bumper music on some of my past segments, and when I want something more instrumental to listen to, I can find what I need on one of their many albums. There are so many more Halloween and spooky songs out there, more than I could possibly cover in this segment. If you're interested in seeing a list of Halloween albums, go to my Pinterest board under pinterest.com/reallyshellhawk/Halloween Sounds. You can also go to my Shellhawk's Nest YouTube channel and find the playlist called This is a Halloween Playlist. I'm always adding to both of those, so check back periodically to hear new offerings. Well, I think I'll get back to my Parlo's Victrola, my darklings, and spin a few spooky 78s. Until we meet again, happy listening and bloody kisses.
I'm going now. Heaven help you.
Please like and follow the podcast. Stalk us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Links in the description. And help us by sharing Hauntcast with all your haunted Halloween brethren. Until next time, stay scary.